Bam! And now I can actually start the music. If the music is too loud at all, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to fix the balancing of it. Just getting back to my Twitch. Who is this guy? It's an NPC from my tabletop game. I was saying D&D earlier, but it's not actually played in D&D 5e. It's played in a game system called Ryutama, which instead of using like a d20, it's based around using different smaller die to represent your stats, and then combining different stats to represent different skills. So it's meant to be a lot easier because it's much less math. And it's focused on travel. So I've got a bunch of colorful NPCs that show up in the different towns and regions that I made for my game. Most of these guys here are part of like the central town that everybody is from. I would say, I'm just gonna, I'll make a new layer outside of my folders to be safe. So I'll put it in a not skin tone color. These people can be said to be from like the main central town, or at least they show up there most often. She's actually not from there, but she hangs out there the most because it's good for business. Same thing with this one. She's technically a traveling artist, but she hangs out in the main town most frequently. This technically is one of the player's daughters, so she travels around with the party every time they go somewhere, but she's supposed to be living in the main town when she's not traveling, so I'm including her as part of that. She's a traveler, she's a pirate, traveler who is moving to the main town, so I'll actually circle them into this. And then this one is from the north. So yeah, these four here are all pirates. They're from the southern region in this setting that I created. It's based off of Jamaica, so that's why there's a ton of pirates, because, you know, historically, you know, go back 400 or 500 years and you get a fuck ton of piracy going on, which I thought would be cool to base like that region's culture off of, because if you, as you can probably tell based on the clothing, it's not really necessarily modern. Like, there are collared shirts, but the collared shirts have been being worn for several centuries now in some way. If you look at a lot of like tunics and stuff from like anywhere between the 14 to 1600s, they will often have collars. Like, maybe they're not kind of starchy collars like this, but in general, I set most of the regions to be aimed somewhere for like between 14 to 1600s in terms of the culture and history that I'm pulling from. And so that's why we went with pirates here. We got a captain, two of the crew members. This is another crew member. He's not actually from the region, he just got conscripted into working with them, but he enjoys being a pirate, so it's all good. His name is Morrow. He is the mentor of this girl over here. He is also the mentor of this girl. Former, technically, on both of them. Like, they've already gone off to do their own things in their lives. So I tried to include elements that would, like, look similar between them. Like, he's got the same gold hoop earring she does. With the pose that I chose for the hat, you don't get to see it, but he's got, like, the gold coin jewelry, you know, wrapped around his hat. And of course, obviously, these two share a hat between them. There's also, like, a little white ribbon around his hat as well. It just doesn't have the little strand here. It's just wrapped around in, like a sash, hat sash, kind of. Yeah, and then I would imagine if I was to do, like, more of the design for him to show, like, the midsection, there'd be more of the gold coin jewelry is wrapped around with, like, a little sash for him as well. So yeah, I'm basically almost done with him. I just need to touch up the shading and highlighting on things. I've got little, like, shade colors that I use over here on the side. This is the default color that I use for the lines, and I just set everything to multiply for lines and shading and stuff. It's the really easy, lazy
digital art thing that was popularized like 10 years ago. But I don't need to make these masterpieces because they're just for the sake of being tokens in a game, you know? So I will take the easy way out. Ears are hard. Because, like, I always kind of just bullshit the shape of them until they look right. And then the shading becomes difficult in the process because, like, I'm bullshitting the shape. I really should just, like... I should study ears sometime. But it's weird looking up ear reference photos. Like, not that the reference photos are bad, it's just like, why am I searching ears? What am I doing with my life? That's the thought that goes through my mind whenever I try to study different body parts. It's especially bad with feet, though. Like, if you've ever tried to do a foot study just for the art's sake, you are immediately flooded with, like, thousands and thousands of horrible, horrible photos. And it's like, no, I didn't want this.
Oh, you're right. I did not change my game. Let me fix that now. I don't think there's like an art program category, so we're going to just chatting. And I should actually change the title too. Working on tabletop. Tokens until end of stream. Okay, thank you for catching that, Rike. I always forget about that. I don't normally swap to different things mid-stream. So it always slips my mind. But yeah, with this guy here, it's meant to be, because he's mentored to, you know, young adult women, I wanted him to look a little older, but technically not that old, because he ages incredibly well. Come on, man. You gotta have a hot dad. At least, that's what my players seem to be into. There was one section of the game where one of the characters, they had family in the region that everybody was traveling in. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna go out of my way to include the family members, and they're staying the night, and they're hosting you, and they're telling you stories about the character growing up, and, you know, trying to get stories about the people traveling. And everybody loved it. They ate it up. They had such a fun time interacting with these parent characters. And the fun thing was, as part of designing their character, the player also made designs for the parents. And so I was able to, like, pull the art into the game, and everybody lost their fucking minds over both parents. The mother was incredibly beautiful, and then the father was like a buff himbo, so everybody's sitting here going like, oh my god, sweating. Like, genuinely in setting, the characters are sitting there going like, oh, staring at the dad every time he flexed or something to show off. It was stupid, but it was fun. So apparently that's their type, is just, you know, incredibly attractive older people. Okay. Is it necessary to put little shinies on the eyelashes? No. Do I want to do it anyway? Yes. And then I should get little eye shinies for the eyes. They'll look a lot better like that. I don't like the positioning of that one. Ooh, I don't like that positioning either. Okay, hang on, let's try it this way. No, I don't like that. Nope, that looks cross-eyed for some reason.
Okay, how about... I don't know why it looks so uneven. Is it higher than the other? I think it is. So what if I... Okay, what if instead I just do like that? Maybe it's a flaw with how I drew the eyes themselves. I think they must be uneven in some way. Like, I knew the hair was uneven. Yeah, it looks a lot better when you look at it from the way I originally drew it. So, you know what? We're just gonna keep going. Hopefully nobody notices it looks weird. I have decided that I want more hair shinies. It looks cuter that way. I actually don't know if I like that. Maybe I'll just do like the little ends here. Then we just... I don't know if I like that either. Gosh. I'm being very indecisive today. Lighter hair reminds you of Sebastian. Oh no, he's not supposed to remind you of Sebastian. That was not the inspiration. Oh no. Well, I guess I'll die. I want to match the height up here, so... Good enough, I think. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine. So then I should probably do little like collarbone highlights. Those are cute. And then normally I would try and do like some cleavage highlight, but it's fine. I will try and fix though, I think. Yeah, there is like a little too much yellow going off. The gold was messing with it, I think. Okay, and I just need to like touch up the shading on this, it's basically done, honestly. Yeah, that's already been shaded. I'm not going for like perfect consistency, it just needs to make it look like, ah, yeah, definitely, the light's coming from that direction. I want it to look like it's... The idea is it's like somewhere from over here. I shouldn't be doing that on this layer. Like somewhere over here is the light. I guess it would technically be like somewhere over here. Because like it's the top of the hat, the back's in shadow is a little bit catching there just for like variety in the color. That means I should probably
probably do some like bullshit here. Wait, is that just a different color? Oh, I was using the wrong color to shade, that's why. Oops, that's on me. This one. Yeah, I should technically be pumping the contrast on like the different colors that I use to shade, but adjusting it manually for each character to get it to look right is a very tedious process because it depends on, for example, if he was with red hair, if he had red hair, using this pink color to shade wouldn't actually show up as well. Let me go to you as an example. Like, you see how warm that is? It kind of shows up on this one because it's more of like a desaturated brown, but the purple that I used here I think stands out better. I try not to use like colors to shade. He looks great. Oh, thank you, Jack. Yeah, this is Morrow. Do you remember him? I'm pretty sure I described brown hair when I first said so in the session, but I changed it to purple because then he matches tall, kind of. And his original eye color was blue-green, so I kept that here. Although I used the mint color for the hearts, and I think it's really cute. Okay, is there anything else I should do? Like, it's not a reflective material, this yellow. It's not meant to be actual gold. It's just gold-colored, kind of. I think there's some places where I need to... Yeah, I need to just ease up that line. And by ease up, I mean fix. I guess I actually do need to get shading done for the little strings. I didn't assign them a color, they're just kind of meant to be like a thin string. But they would still exist. And something like that, maybe. Cool. Let me take a little skin highlight. And we can put that on the ear over here. Yeah, I think just on the, like, these parts. Because I think that's naturally the highest part of the ear, is like the outer edge of it. So I'll just give it some highlight there for variety. And I need to shade under the lip. It's very important. Do just like a little bit of like defining of the smile too. You can just add like the shadows in the corners. It does more to emphasize the smile. Okay, that looks better. I was originally gonna take the hair color and put it underneath all these dots, but that's a lot of work to do manually. Like, look at this. I don't even think it looks that good now that I'm doing it. Yeah, no, definitely not. So we're just gonna keep it to the line work for this double. There, that looks fine. Yeah, I think that's really all I needed, because none of these materials are meant to be like reflective or shiny beyond like the skin and the eyes and the hair and stuff. That's what I try to do when I go for my shiny stuff. I only apply it to surfaces that would be reflective, so that way I only have to worry about putting down the shading instead of everything gets some sort of highlight, you know? We can get rid of that. So yeah, that's this token done. I basically had it done from when I was working on it last night, but there was just those final touch-ups that I wanted to do. I could probably go in and fuck with the hat shading some more, but I don't want to touch it and tempt myself into wasting time. So, next person I'm gonna be drawing is, her name is Jasmine. She is technically a reworking of one of my D&D characters. I've been trying to vary the positions of like the NPCs, how they're facing people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3/4 quarter view to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 facing directly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, it's pretty evenly spread. I don't know what to counter because her body's facing 3/4 to the right, but the head is 3/4 to the left. Maybe I'll do to the left, cause I can. That would be a cute pose. I've done a couple head tilty ones, but I always end up like de-tilting them if they go back too far, because it looks weird. I think this is like the most tilted anybody's head is. Except for hers. Hers is pretty tilted too. Maybe I'll just do like a little head tilt. For this, I'm gonna open... You guys would be able to see me going through this, right? Let me check my preview. Oh, you can't see my files. Perfect. Well, we'll double check here. Yeah, it's just my mouse and not all the stuff I'm going through. Perfect. Okay, I need to open the dragon art I did for her. Hang on. I don't remember what I named it. There's the working. There it is. Okay, so this is my D&D character. I'm even gonna get out of the corner there to avoid any issues with Twitch. But yeah, this is my D&D character. She recently got revived as like a half dragonborn thing when she was a full Goliath. So I did a little bit of like color adjusting to make her a little bit more yellow, like brassy in the skin tone, and then added in like all the brass scales and horns and plating and stuff. And then I changed her main color scheme. She used to use a lot of purple, but now I've gone for like the orangey color instead to shift things over some to just kind of put the colors to be more cohesive. I think the purple and brassy gold on its own could be fine. Like, there's not an issue if I did like a dark purple instead, but I liked being able to play with using like warm colors on her. So that's what I did. This is what her eye shape is. It's kind of like flat, and then it goes down. Okay. And then what did I pick for face shape? Just kind of default. It's vanilla. Alright.
pointy. Yeah, there's like more. This is still not looking right. I think I need to lower the angle here. Chin, chin, okay. Something like that? Kind of. But yeah, I don't think anybody in here is actually from my Thursday game that alternates, so I can freely talk about like how I changed the character to adapt her to be an NPC. So I'm still keeping that she had a brother that she was raised with, and you know, there were still like orphans raised in a church and all that. And the main thing is that instead of being heroic adventurers saving the world from all the problems, they were pirates! He got her into it, her brother, because he's the type who always fantasized about, you know, in like the main game that they're from, when he was a kid, he insisted they were a gang and they did the gangster things like collecting eagle feathers because the other rival kid gang dared them to, you know, silly stuff like that. They never actually did any crimes. I mean, like, he did petty thievery and stuff, but no real crimes. She stayed out of any petty thievery because she's the good kid who's on the straight and narrow, the responsible older sister, that sort of thing. So in this case, when they can't become heroic adventurers, they're pirates, and he's the one who got her on it. But in this case, they're kind of more like a Robin Hood pirate as opposed to anything else, which is not necessarily how pirates actually worked in real life, but I don't care. She's got a whiter face. And so they would like steal from rich merchants and then, you know, give things out to people who needed it, that sort of thing. You know, save people from monsters, blah, blah, blah. And they were co-captains, she and her brother. And like the crew that they originally joined and worked their way up to become pirates, captain pirates in, that one has a thing where the captain takes the name of the previous captain. It's all just like one long heritage. I think isn't that what they did in Princess Bride or something? The Dread Pirate Rogers was just a title passed down. So yeah, it's the same thing here. They both had the title, and she eventually retired. He's still off pirating. Dread Pirate Roberts. Okay, not Rogers. So yeah, it's an inherited title to be captain. She retired, he's still off pirating, but like that's the thing that I gave to my players, is like, oh, she was a pirate like this. My fiance dropped off a smoothie for me earlier. Wahoo! So yeah, now she's in retirement with her lovely elf wife, and they're just chilling on an island, guarding some of the world's like most dangerous fauna-kin and making sure they have the chance to, you know, breed when it's their breeding season and stop people from poaching them, blah blah blah. They've got a whole house and tons of plants and flowers, and some of them are definitely poisonous. So yeah, she's definitely gonna be like a little older like Morrow is, but she's not gonna, again, they're all gonna be beautiful because apparently that's what this group responds well to, is just like beautiful older people. Despite all of them falling into the trap of playing like young to mid 20-somethings. I think this hair texture, it has got to go, unfortunately. I had a style in mind, but that was on my old phone. I don't know if I mentioned it, by the way. When I went on vacation to New York, I lost my phone. I had to buy a new phone. But that was on my old phone. It was like meant to be some sort of like braided ponytail thing. Let me see if I can re-find it on my phone.
Damn, I cannot find the reference image that I had before. But wow, there are so many cute hairstyles! Oh my god. Gorgeous. There's so many to choose from. They're so good. This is close. I found one that's close to what I liked. Oh, but that is braids for the ponytail as opposed to like a ponytail with braids. Hang on. I'll go with this one, I think, maybe. Yeah, that's cute. You know what? That actually is pretty close to the texture that I had drawn for her in her original incarnation, so that works. Okay, I need to move this head down, like right now, because there's going to be a fuck ton of volume. Okay, so the one that I found as like a replacement reference image thing, I don't know what to call it. It's got these like hair bangles. Not rings, they look like little thin bangles that help to like give volume to the hair. And it's like tons of little bangles there, and then coming out of it is just tons of super curly, dense, thick, beautiful hair. We love to see it. Something like that. I'll have to fuck with the positioning. And then I do want to try and get the parts in there too. How do I best describe that? Not describe, but like portray that. Because they're kind of like crisscrossing braids. And I also like that they added like little bands there too. That's so cute. The thickness of this is probably not right. Something like that, I think. Probably even less than that. And I want to make sure there's like a solid center line. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Do I keep her horns? I think I keep her horns. Who needs ears when you have horns? Oh, it's a little too big compared to what it was. Something like that. Actual brass dragon horns don't really make a lot of sense to me, so I just kind of like took the general idea of them and did what I want. So I've made sure the center line is good. I'm just gonna erase that. Like that, or maybe like this. Or I could like tilt it again, so I can do like that. Okay. I want to keep the eye scales. I might as well keep the forehead scales. The little, like, crown horn up here was another carryover for how brass dragons are designed in D&D. I'm probably gonna get rid of that. It's unnecessary. But I do like these little, like, chin spikes. You're not gonna see them, though. Well, I could just adjust the positioning of the horn, because I think it's too far forward. So, we're actually just gonna go erase things. Nose goes about there. it's a very upturned nose here. I think I will carry that detail over. Because it feels like it's a little bit closer to how dragon snouts are. Obviously she doesn't have a muzzle, but nah. And kind of like flat, and then it goes down some, and then eye. Basically. And it's actually supposed to be kind of feathery. I'm gonna make them a little thicker and feathery. And there's like technically, yeah, I think there's 3 there. Well, that doesn't go up, it's like a little curve down. So I think I technically messed up the shape of this. It needs more height. I think that's my issue. And then I did give her thin pupils. So we're doing that here. Lizard. Did she have a double? She did have a double eyelid. Okay. Little age line there. Scale, they've got to be pointy at the end. Because that's supposed to be how you can tell them apart from like fish scales, is specifically the points. I don't have to define the rest. That eye is gonna have to be fixed, but it's okay. For now, it can just sit there. This is just the sketch. I go through like a lot of revision processes when designing characters for tokens. So I'm fine with ending up having to like redo something or something. I'm gonna make the face whiter again. I did it over on the right some, so I'll do it here this time. There we go, just a little bit more space. Do I give her visible fangs? Because she does have fangs. For now, I will give visible fangs. Nya, it's not a nya thing. It's a lizard thing, dragon thing specifically. If this is where her eye is, this is where her brow should be, so I'm actually just going to preemptively shrink this down to size. I think about there, move that down some. And then she has, yeah, it's a decently thick brows. They're long is the thing. Okay, something like that isn't awful. Have to deal with the positioning of the eye, I think. Yeah, I think a little closer is better. And then like the eye is gonna be like roughly over here for the other one. Thick, feathery, looking towards the viewer, because that's how I do all of these. Hello, Em! How you doing today? Something like that. It's just a sketch. And then there should be like more eyelashes. And then again, it'll be like a one thin one big, one kind of droopy, little one right there, right? Yeah, there's a smaller one. Okay, somehow I like this eye more than this one. Whatever, it's fine, we can deal with it. We'll be fixing both of them eventually. Not bad, works excruciating, you're feeling fine. Nice art. Thank you! I am working on tokens for my tabletop game. This is an NPC, they're gonna be... I mean, technically they saw them last session, but they didn't get to talk with them, so they're gonna be speaking with them next session. I don't know if I'll have it done in time for next session, but it'll be fine. Because I did this guy first, because he's part of the crew that they're traveling with. Long eyebrow to match, yep. And work is excruciating because people are being assholes. Is it hot? Like, how has it been going at your store, Em? Okay, that's good enough for now as just like a basis for the face. We'll have like pointy scale. I made them go a lot farther here. But it's fine, don't worry about it. I think I will once again shift this in. That brow is too high. But I think that general eye position is more correct. Another call-in. Disabled your emotions for the next 4 hours? Oh my god. I pray that you will survive your shift. That sounds awful. Okay, so then I didn't base her horns off of ears. I definitely put them like kind of off to the side of the head before. I think. Yeah, it looks about right. This will be about where it's coming from. Curve it around. A little spiky there. Horn. You're exaggerating, but thanks. I mean, I get what you mean though. Those suck. I assume by call in you mean like call out, right? You know, people not going to show up to their shift and leaving you alone on the floor forever. I did have like the center of it going down from like here-ish. Yeah, good god. Here, are you closing? How did I do it? I didn't even show the spiky part there because her hair has volume. I feel like overall her face needs to be taller to match the original proportions, so I'm just gonna grab that real quick. That, I think, looks better. Nope, not today. Thank God. Closing when other people have called out is insane. At least at my old store, like, they used to try and make sure, like, hey, can anybody come in? This person's closing alone. But, like, if nobody came in, that's it. Fuck you. You're closing a whole store alone. Okay, I need to shrink this down to give myself more room to work with. Like that for now. And she has very strong shoulders. I don't like how that's turning out. Like that. You sometimes open after nights like that, you see the wreckage. Yeah, what are they supposed to do though if they're the only person closing? I think she had, like, yeah, plates on her neck, too. I'll have to carry those over. The top one was shorter. This one is the one that actually, like... There we go. So we just, like, give, like, a big shoulder impression there. Arm. Muscular. Time to expose the fact that I don't know muscles for shit. I was talking about, like, face anatomy before, but muscle anatomy is hard. And I think the collarbone is supposed to be higher up, too. And there's the neck, and then these go here, and then this is, like, where the shoulder is, I think. Something like that. I don't know. Just go. I put the mouth too far down. I always do that. The mouth is actually, like, closer to the nose than it is to, like, the chin, usually. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like if you feel that, there is more chin than there is the gap between your lip and your nose. But anime styles always put the mouth very close to the chin because I think it's just cuter that way. But it does mean that I sometimes fall into the trap of, like, not getting the proportions right. Okay, that's looking better. I need to get that hairstyle pulled back up. Such a pretty hairstyle. I don't think I'm doing, like, this part justice. Up here. I'll get rid of my center line from earlier at the very least. Because it's like there's really a ton of really small, thin bangles is what it looks like. Because there's definitely a shine to it. Or you know what? Maybe just a really shiny thread? I don't know. It definitely looks like some sort of, like, top knot into ponytail combo. I wish I could understand it. My brain is not computing at the moment. You know, there is another version that I see, like, it's a similar style, and it's got, like, the braids and then the loose hair. I might base it off of that. Okay, and then they are segmenting it into different chunks of hair. Simplifying that... I guess I could just do like a couple visible segments. Like if we do it, if we just treat them like squares and then we can draw the hair from there. Oh, the horn gets in the way of that, doesn't it? Like some volume there. Then that would mean that goes kind of like that. Some there. Remember, kids, when you're drawing, shapes are your friend. Her forehead's a little bit short like that. So I think... Firstly, I will expand the head up and see how that looks. If we do something like this. Okay, that's still not quite matching what I see on the hairstyle, and I feel like having a big forehead, was that originally, I mean actually her forehead was kind of small originally, if we like brows here. So it actually does match the character to have a smaller forehead. That's fine, I guess. I can just shift these up some. Okay, and then it'll be braids there. Okay, the braids are feeding into it from these different parts. Just trying to, what is the simplest way to portray the hair? Do I just leave it up to like the little lines? Like that? And then it'll be like braids like that from there. Is that the easiest way? I guess it would be, yeah. If we just like fill that with the lines of the hair going up and then any gaps can be filled by the actual hair color. Which in this case, I think I am gonna go for just like super dark hair instead of the light purple. I don't know, actually. Maybe I will keep the light purple. Or I could keep the like brassy color I used as like a highlight here instead. Both? Both? And she'd have dark skin this time because last time I gave her like a light gray for being a Goliath because that was what I found for Goliath art was light gray. But it's like, oh, no, just give her the skin she deserves. Give her some melanin! I will yell it at on like random art I see on the internet. I will yell it at myself too. Characters deserve melanin. Yeah, if I like erase the square lines and just go with that for the hair, that looks, it'll look good enough, I think, when I add in the colors. Especially if I like show more of like the hair being pulled. Yeah. Getting those edges with like more hair being pulled, I think looks better.
Trust the process, trust the process. I did technically like a little bit of this with this girl over here. You can see between the braids, I tried to add like more of the hair being pulled to the braids. And I think that came out pretty well. I might have made my lines too dark, but we'll see. Because there it kind of works because the blue and the dark lines blended in. So braids there. Going all the way that direction. The lines are getting hard to follow, so I'm just going to like erase out these sections so I know where to put my braids just about. Like that. Little heart shapes for now, and then I can go in and add detail. Like that, I think. Oh, I see a hydrate regime. Everybody who's here, please make sure to drink some water. Delicious. Good water. Okay, and I think with like this spacing I should actually move these braids closer. Like treat rough square shape there. And then we do the same like erasing technique. And, like pulling the braids in there. And the idea is each one's gonna like lead towards the top knot braid thing that we have here. And then if we have it coming out of like the side of the head here for the horns, like near her brow, then that will kind of avoid any of like the hair parting. So we can have like another rough square there. And then that'll be more braid. Heart. Heart. Like that kind of. The perspective on that isn't working for me. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. Kind of. We're getting somewhere. It's still messy, but we're getting somewhere in terms of like where the hair is blocked out and stuff. Let me just take like, because I intended on going like darker than she is for this girl, so I'm just gonna test out. Firstly, more saturation. Give her something nice and cute. And then we'll go up here. I kind of want to reflect like the brassy thing in it, but I don't want it to be like yellow, you know? How's this? That's pretty dark. Alright. So if I just like put that in between here. Like put like little lines of it going back. Okay, and then if we just use the same light purple, like how does that go? That's not awful. Like, we need to show more of like the skin peeking through. Like, fun hair colors are good.
just try it with like a really dark purple, like kind of like blackish. The original shade was up here, so let's just try and go like right here. Ooh, I think I like how the purple looks more. Like there's less contrast with the skin. But is it just that it hides the messiness of my lines? Or is it the dark purple actually looks better? I don't know. Also, that would basically just be her eye color, wouldn't it? Nah. Her eye color is a little more saturated. Here, let's see how it looks around the eyes. I'll put like the rest of the skin down just to kind of like compare. There we go. Alright. Okay, this skin tone with the purple color. Oh, that's really cute! I really like how the lavender works with like the darker skin. It's so cute. It pops. And then if we were to just grab her like eye color that I'm carrying over real quick. Oh yeah, that is really cute. Like obviously I'd have to make sure like the actual application is clean when I go for it in the final version. That's not bad. Now, what if I were to replace all of that with the darker color? Yeah, I know my fill settings are bad because it's leaving pixels behind. I don't know, I think I like with the lavender after looking at it more. Because if I go to refill that, I think that darker color is too dark. It like blends in too much. I guess I could try lightening this purple some. Or you know, what if I like give it more saturation? Because my issue has been I've been desaturating a lot of my colors and I want to try like resaturating them in some cases. So what if I do the same thing with the hair? Because that's also what I did with the skin. Now the eyes are too close to that hair color though. Let's take this kind of like pinkish color in the middle. See how that turns out. Let me just actually... There is a trick where if you're trying to shift between two colors that are opposite on the color wheel, find the color in between them. So for example, we've got this purplish here, you've got like the brassy somewhere here, the middle is basically some sort of pink. Put it in the middle, hit blend. Okay, we're gonna need a smaller blend. And now there should be a more like natural gradient between them instead of just hopping straight to gray, which is what it normally does when you're trying to go to like basically two different sides of the color wheel all in one go. I don't know if I like the pink eyes, but I do like the more saturated color for the purple. I think the desaturation was my issue, especially because I like resaturated the skin. If I were to put that up against the color I'm using for the brass, oh, that's really pretty. That's closer to the original purple color, and then we can use like this to blend things into the brass. Isn't that cute? It's almost like sunsetty. Yeah, I think I'll stick with this more saturated hair color. I just like how it looks next to the skin. Okay, I'm gonna pull these off to the side to save them. Including my little like sunset gradient there, cause it's really cute. Okay, now that my fucking around with colors is done, like we've technically jumped around in the process, but I feel like it'll help now that I know what I'm designing for. Okay, so I think the main thing I have to work on... No, I want to change the size of my erase button. And just making these bits look more like hair is getting pulled in. So I should actually probably do the braids first, and then I can go ahead and do all the hair getting pulled in around it. I think is the good idea to go with there. Something like that. I need to figure out like the angle this is going at. Also, I've got these rather flat against the head. Is that how they are in the actual hairstyle? Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, going off the other one I was using for the actual braids, they're pretty flat against the head, and then they get, you know, coiled up into that ponytail top knot. And there's just a ton of super long, beautiful hair from there. Okay, so we are completely getting rid of her original bangs and the original loose strands. Okay. And I guess that does beg the question of like, what do I do about the horn coming out of the skin? Normally, I think in like actual animals, there's like a lip, right? Where the horn comes out. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but there's like a little bit of like skin that goes up to like the projection of the horn, and then it turns into the actual horn coming out. I'm thinking like on rhinos, for example. Actually, what other animals have skin and horns? Because I think lizard skin, it doesn't work the same, right? Well, do they have scales in the part where horns come out? I don't know. Goats. And they usually have like a thin layer of fur near their horn. Antelopes, yep. So yeah, like their skin and their fur goes straight up to where the horn starts to come out, and then it just stops. So maybe I move the horn more to like the side of the head, instead of treating it as like part of the brow. You can't tell, but like as I was saying that, I was like feeling the sides of my head, trying to feel like what is the best place to put this? Do I give her a horn and pointy ear? Do I just do that because I can? I was originally thinking no ear, but like now it's weird. There's nothing there. Okay, I don't want to carry over most of that design, because this was just designed as like, wow, cute clothing, wow. But it's not very like setting accurate compared to what everybody else is wearing now, is it? More hair volume. Just want it like everywhere. That sort of thing. I can clean those up another time, honestly. Obviously not finishing this today because we are almost done with stream. Just a few more minutes to make up for me starting a bit late. I'm getting little bits here. Wait, I told myself I was gonna do the braids first and then the actual hair getting pulled. That's a good idea. I should really do that. Let me just look at the reference image again. So the hairline on here goes to like solidly behind where the ear would be. No, not behind, like in front. Because it's got like the little things. So I guess this is maybe where the hair would go, right? Like this side of the head instead. That would be the next square if it wasn't getting interrupted by horn. So maybe the horn should go further in. You know what? We can say the scales are meeting it up here, because that was always the intent, was that it would go like under the hair, the scales. I know the music's done. It's like a couple more minutes. You guys can deal with some silence. I'll fill it with my wonderful talking. You guys are here for me to do that, obviously. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep showing back up. So you get to hear more. Yeah, scales. There's supposed to be like an overlapping pattern to them, and I just have not been paying attention to it. This is just a sketch. This is just a sketch. Don't worry about it. And then originally she did have scales going like in between. think I'm gonna put them down onto like the bridge of the nose. Yeah, I like that. More just like rough scale shapes. We can figure out the brows and how they interact with the scales later. And then we can have them like starting to like go across here. Okay, and that's how they would like meet up roughly. Beep, 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 beep. Scales everywhere. That's a lot of detail though. That's so much visual clutter on the face. So you know what? I think we get rid of like the nose bridge scales and just have like a bunch of them coming out from like where the horn is and like going over the sides, and we still have no ear. That probably works. I don't like that. I don't like that. Like that, maybe. I know in the original art, I definitely did it like that, but now I'm sitting here like, maybe not. Should I give them like a kind of... I know in some dragons they give them... I think they modeled it after goat horns, where they've got the like ridges and stuff to them. Maybe I should do something like that. No, I feel like that's still too much detail. One thing that's important is to not overload a design with like little things, because if you do, it's going to confuse the eye. They're not going to know where to look. The default for most people is to try and look at the face. But if you put in a bunch of detail in other places, the eye is going to be drawn to that place because there's so much going on in one spot. And not controlling where you put your detail can often lead to people getting like overwhelmed when they look at something. Know exactly where to look, the beautiful face. Well, I guess it's not too much so far then. How would this work in real life? I'm having these go like around the eyelash, but I think they'd actually be like following the underside of the eye bag, going up around towards where the brow is, and then like stopping at the brow because I want the eyebrow. And then we'd have like different scales kind of like starting from the brow going on to like the side of the head. That is how it's working in my head. So instead of being on the side like that, it'd probably be more like this. Like that sort of thing. And then we can still have those kind of like angle themselves into the horn. Like there would just be some skin poking through, that's fine, I think. As long as for the rest of the scales, they are like overlapping like they're supposed to be. And then I guess that means if we're doing the scales like that, I have to like angle these scales. Almost. Something like that. And then on like another scale there. And instead of being a straight line, it'll be like the scales causing the separation between horn and head. Yeah, that's not awful, I think. Like, I need to figure out how the fuck I want these scales to be shaped and angled, but in theory, that works. And then, of course, there's more scales there. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right, I'll have to figure out, like, where the edge of the face is again. Like, I'm going to have to redefine where the jawbone is, especially if I want those spikes to carry over, and I do. Somewhere around there, I think, is the jawbone. But yeah, okay, that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining me. I was a little loose with like figuring out what to do because I honestly expected to take the whole stream to get to the Gengar quest. But hey, it's fine. That we are officially done with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Next week, we will be starting with Atelier Totori. And if I have to take a pivot away from it in order to play my Revue Starlight game, I absolutely fucking will. Don't even consider it an option for me to not play that game on release. I am playing it. But until then, Atelier Totori, I'm so excited to be getting back to the Atelier series. I've been looking forward to it. It hopefully is going to be a fun time. I have all of my research done as to how to avoid getting locked into a specific ending. It's just going to come down to my implementation. So we'll be saving constantly. For now, though, that's it. I will see you guys next weekend. And good night.